In this video, I'm going to break down how to read basic music notation. And in return, all I ask for is 1,000 likes. That's right, 1,000 likes. That way I can have a chance to reach those who are in need of learning how to read music. This is a quarter note. It would be defined as a note value. And the value of this note equals 1 beat. This is how it would look on sheet music if it was for 4 counts. And this is the bar line that the quarter note or any other note would sit on. And up here you have the tempo. The tempo determines how fast or slow the music should be played. And in this case, the tempo is 65 beats per minute. So this is how you would count the quarter note beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's pretty much how you would count quarter notes. And if you notice, the quarter note follows the tempo of the beats. It doesn't go any faster than the tempo and it doesn't go any slower than the tempo. So you can use the quarter note as a tempo setter, basically. Now you're probably thinking, oh, this is so boring. I don't feel like learning how to read music. And that's exactly why your dumbass will never progress as a percussionist or anything like that. Because you're a lazy fuck. Now, if you were to double the quarter note or times it by 2, you would come up with an 8th note. Basically meaning the 8th note is twice the amount of beats as a quarter note. And since 8th notes are twice the amount of beats as quarter notes, that's where you start to use subcounts. And in this case with 8 notes, you'll add an and in between the numbers. This is how the 8th notes would look on the sheet music, and this is how you would count them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, no matter what the tempo is, the note value will not change. For example, here's the tempo at 100 beats per minute with nothing but 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So like I said, even with the tempo higher, it keeps the integrity of the note value. Oh, look at you already looking at other videos to click on because you think this is too boring for you and you don't have the attention span long enough to handle learning how to read some fucking music because you're a lazy piece of shit. Fuck! So when you double up the 8th notes or you times them by 2, you end up with 16th notes. 16th notes have twice as many beats as 8th notes. And also with 16th notes, you'll notice that there's more subcounts in them. For example, you have the 1, and then you have the newly added E, then you have the already added and then you also have the newly added So this is how you would count 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So to summarize 16th notes, there are 4 beats within 1 count. Or you can also say that there's 4 notes within 1 count. And then once again, when you double up or times 2 the 16th notes, you'll come up with 32nd notes. And with 32nd notes, you won't add any more subcounts. So for every subcount, there will be 2 beats. For example, this is how it would sound and look. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So like I said, the subcounts for 32nd notes will not change. However, you will have 2 beats for every subcount. And then going a little backwards below the quarter notes, you have half notes. So every half note is 2 quarter notes. And half notes would be counted like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you see, for every half note, there's going to be 2 counts. And then finally, this is a whole note. And the whole note is for 4 counts total. And for a quick example for this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 beat for every 4 counts, as you can see here. So to summarize, this is how all the note values would look and compare to each other. All you pretty much have to do is times every note value by 2, and you'll get twice as many notes as you would from the previous note value. And that is how note values work. And now here come the comments saying, but what about the rest notes? You didn't go over the rest notes. And normally I would say something like, hey, if you would just join the School of Super Drumming, you can get more music reading lessons. But nah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to click off site and sign up at the School of Super Drumming. Nah, you know, fuck that shit. Just give me the shit now. Post it all on YouTube so I can benefit fully from it while you put your blood, sweat, and tears into these videos so I can ruin your fucking retention rate and laugh at you in the comment section because you're an idiot for giving out all of this free information while I just get to sit here on the toilet taking a shit, not even paying attention to your video because I have an attention span shorter than a fucking peanut. That's right. I don't give a shit about your videos, but please talk about rest notes. Here's a pyramid of music note rests. At the very top, you have a whole note rest, and at the very bottom, you have 16th note rests. And the way to count these rests is very similar to counting regular note values. For example, here's a quarter note rest. 1 quarter note rest equals 1 count. So basically, you would rest for 1 count. So with this example, you would play 2 quarter note beats and then you would rest for 1 count because there's a quarter note rest. And then you would play again on count 4. 1, 2, rest, 4, 1, 2, rest, 4. Here's a different example, this time an 8th note rest. And an 8th note rest equals half of a count. So you would rest for half of a count. Here's an example of that. 1 and 2 and rest and 4 and 1 and 2 and rest and 4 and. Here's another example, but this time with a 16th note rest. And with the 16th note rest, you would rest for 1/4 of a count. That means you would rest on the E, the or the and, or on the numerical beat. And here's an example of that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, rest E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, rest E and a, 4 E and a. So a couple of more quick examples. Here's a half note rest, and this rest would be for 2 counts, and this is how it would look on the bar line. But if you want to avoid using 2 half note rests to get 4 counts of rest, that's when you change it to a whole note rest, because with the whole note rest, you get 4 counts of resting. And this is how it would look on sheet music. You would only need 1 whole count for 4 counts of a rest. So to summarize, basically it's the same exact principles as it would be when you're counting regular note values, but instead you're counting rest notes. So you should already have a good understanding of how to count note values, because if you already know how to do that, then counting rests will be pretty easy for you to understand. If you're tired of being a lazy piece of shit and want to learn how to read music, learn some rudiments, some awesome stick tricks, want to enhance or test your chops with some exercises, I suggest you join the School of Super Drumming. Right now I have over 600 videos and counting. And the best part about it is that you can open an account right now for free to start out. See if you like it and whatnot. Again, open an account for free to get started at the School of Super Drumming.